Well, hello there. This is going to be a follow-up to my other video that shows the basics of how to use the Origin Creator to create custom origins for Minecraft. If you don't know the basics of how to use this tool, I'd recommend that you go check out that first tutorial because it's going to cover the basics and the setups, which this video isn't going to really cover. This video is sort of a part two in a way, because with the Origin Creator, there are a ton of different powers that you can create. And I covered about 5 of them in my last video, and in this one, I'll cover 10 more, a list of which should be on your screen right now. So, the first power we're going to talk about is changing the base scale of the player. Now, you may have noticed if you played some different origins, such as, say, the Inchling origin, that the player's base size is vastly different from 2 blocks tall. So, how exactly do you make that happen? Well, for this one, we're going to need a power you can find way down at the bottom. Extra origins modify size. Now, you may notice right here it says that it requires add-ons. Well, for this one, the add-on that you need is the Extra Origins mod. Although you will also want to have the Pakui, or however you pronounce it, that mod. Now, you may notice here that there's this little box called Scaled Types. Well, to see what these are, you can click on this here and scroll down to here, and there's a whole lot of stuff here. You could get really specific with, like, what about their reach? What reach, which is how far away they could like attack things or build things depending on the type of reach. Or how does it affect their fall damage or where they look in third person. But if all you really want to do is make your player shorter or taller, but still have all the same reach and everything as normal, we can actually use a scale type that's not on this page. Because it's not from Pakui, it's from the Extra Origins mod. You'll see here if we type /scale, if I can type it right, set, then we have this option here, Extra Origins modify size. This will basically change the scale of your player and nothing else. Now the value, it's just multiplication. If you set your size 1, literally nothing changes. If you decide to set your size as 0.5, you'd become half the size. If you instead put it at 2, you're suddenly double the size of a normal player. Now, when you just set the scale in this way, again, it doesn't affect anything like speed or fall damage, it's just your height. Now, what about the scale types that do modify more than just your size? Well, I'm not going to go through all of them because that would be a really long video. But if you just want to change like everything in line with your player's scale, such as what happens with my Green Orlupsi origin I made, where you go bigger and you start going way fast, and then you get smaller and you go really, really slow, and you start to take fall damage way more easily. Well, if you wanted to do that, you would want to use the Pakui base scale type. Although I would recommend that you be cautious with, like, if you made a small origin at walking like this, slow, and like taking fall damage off of 1 block, because that could get really annoying if it wasn't like a temporary power that you could just like scale yourself right back out of. But anyways, for the sake of this tutorial, we're just gonna change the height of the player, not any of the other attributes. So to do that, we'll go back to the Origin Creator, where the scale type Extra Origins : modify size is typed in by default. Right, so something weird I just discovered is even though it automatically fills in Extra Origins : modify underscore size, the power won't work unless you delete the text in this box and then type the exact same thing in yourself. I don't know why that is. Makes no sense. But just so you know, you just need to type this in yourself a second time, apparently, because I guess it doesn't like the autofill version for some reason. But again, if you want to change it, we just type in, like, Pakui colon base or whatever we wanted to modify. And then we need to set the scale. Let's say we want you to be just a little bit shorter. So let's say, oh, I don't know, 0.75. Make you 3/4 of the normal height. And then we can just go ahead and name it and give it a description. Add the power to our origin. Download it. Go to File Explorer. Right from here. Then after we have quit our Minecraft world, delete the old one from here, and paste the new one. Come right back into our Minecraft world. We can see that now we aren't as tall as a normal player. We're only like a little under a block and a half, since a normal player is normally like 2 blocks, and we did about 3/4 of that. The next power that I'm going to show you how to make is one where pressing a key runs a Minecraft command. There are all sorts of different commands in Minecraft. I mean, you start typing /help to list them out. You can see when we open the chat, there's a whole lot of commands. And they do all sorts of different things. We definitely don't have time to cover all of them in the tutorial. But for this example power, I'm going to run the command /summon a minecart. I know it's totally random, but like, it's just a super simple basic command that summons an entity by default to your location. You can technically set it to be like, oh, I don't know what, like 200, 200, 200. And so now there's a minecart wherever the heck that is. Probably falling from the sky. But for the sake of this, so we're just going to make it this ability summon a minecart at a player's location, although you could definitely make something a lot more interesting happen than just that. So we're going to head back over to our origin creator, and we're going to use a power type that we did actually use a version of last time. Origins active self. This one basically just makes an action be activated uttered by the player whenever you press a key. So for our key, I believe with our other powers of this origin, we've used up the first 3 keys, which would make this one use the 4th key. Key.origins.quaternary_active. And one note, these keybinds only work if you have the Origins extra keybind mod installed, which I would totally recommend downloading if you plan on making an origin that has any more than 2 abilities, because then you can easily set up to 10 different ability keys. And now let's paste that here. And next, for our cooldown, which remember isn't ticks, not in seconds, and there are 20 ticks in a second, let's just say 600 ticks. Now for the bar that shows your cooldown, we'll pick a random sprite. Let's pick one randomly from here. Sure, why don't we use that one? 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So we'll grab this one here. Bonk it down here. 13. And then we're going to get to the actual executed command part. We're going to go to entity action, hit this plus sign, and we are going to go select execute command. And here we want to type in the command we're using. And if we went back to Minecraft, we could see the command that we just used was /summon Minecraft:/minecart. So we can hit Control A to select this, Control C to copy it, if you're on Windows that is. And then we're going to go back here and paste it in here. Now, of course, our classic, give it a name, and then a description. And we're going to add it. and give it a download. Now delete the old version and copy the new version, paste the new version, head on back over to Minecraft, and now we should hopefully see, yep, summon a minecart using our quaternary origins key, which I have just randomly set to B. So if I hit B, bam, minecart summoned to our location. Now, the next power that I'm going to show you how to make is a power, well, it's less of a power and more of a restriction. It basically can prevent you from being able to use certain kinds of armor. You've probably seen this in a lot of Origins that you've played before. If you play a lot of Origins, there are a lot that are like, oh, you can't wear any armor better than like gold or chainmail and stuff. It's an attempt to balance things out. For this one, we'll say you can't wear diamond armor or any equivalent or better armor. So for this, we would use the power that is exactly what it sounds. Origins restrict armor. And you can see here we can set special restrictions for each armor slot. So let's start with the head. Now, if we click here, you can see there's a lot of ways that you can determine what you can and can't wear. Now, obviously, some stuff on this list, like meat, is not actually applicable to armor, but you could see that we could restrict armor with certain enchantments, or durability for some reason, but for the sake of this, we're just going to use armor value. Now, you may wonder what armor value is. Well, if we head on over to Minecraft, we switch on over to creative mode, we open our inventory, find wherever the armor is. You can see that different pieces of armor have different amounts of protection. So like with helmets, a leather is +1, chain is +2, iron is +2, gold is also +2, diamonds +3 armor, +2 armor toughness, and then netherite's 3 armor toughness, and a knockback resistance. Oh yeah, I guess a turtle shell is also 2 armor. But anyways, what we're just focused on here is how many is the plus whatever number armor. So if we want to only restrict diamond helmets or more, then we need to block the player from wearing any helmets that have 3 or more armor. So if we head on back over to the origin creator, we can say we want to restrict any armor that has an armor value greater than or equal to 3 for the helmet. Now we can do the same thing for the chest plate, the leggings, and the feet. And we'll pick armor value for all 3 of these. And then we gotta head back on over to Minecraft. Look at what our armor value is of our other places of armor, which in this case is 8, 6, and 3. So we're gonna head on back over to the origin creator, and for the chest plate we put 8, for the legs we put 6, and for the boots we put 3. Well, feet slot. And then I already wrote the description here. So we're gonna go, add the power. And download it. And go on over to File Explorer. After we close the Minecraft world out, delete the old pack. Grab the new pack. And paste the new pack. Come on back over to Minecraft. And we should see if we grab ourselves some diamond armor and then say, let's just grab something else that has less. Switch on back over to survival. If we try to put this on, it won't work. Not the helmet, not the chest plate, not the leggings, not the pants. But if we go and grab like a bunch of other types of weaker armor, and then we go put it on, we see that we can wear it just like normal. But we couldn't wear diamond or netherite, or if you had other mods, any other armor that has that kind of level of protection value. So the next power I'm going to show you how to do is how to make a potion area of effect cloud around you, such as what you could see with some of the other origins that I've made. So for this one, we're actually going to need to use Origin's active self again. But this time for our entity action, rather than execute command, we will use spawn effect cloud to spawn basically the equivalent to a lingering potion around you. The radius is how far out from you, how many blocks out from you want this effect cloud to reach. 3's a little small. Let's go up to, say, 6. The radius on use is basically saying after an entity gets affected by this, how much does that big circle shrink down? We're just going to leave it on the default of minus half a block. The wait time is how many ticks you have to wait after activating this power until it actually starts doing something. By default, it's 10 ticks, which is half a second, so we'll just leave it as is. Now, here we can put what potion effect we want it to give, or if we wanted multiple effects, we'd use this here. For this, let's just do jump boost, which if we head back over to Minecraft and try to give ourselves that effect, the slash effect command, we can see that the name of it is Minecraft : jump underscore boost. So we're going to head on back over to the origin creator and type in Minecraft : jump underscore boost to give us the jump boost effect. We'll leave the duration of the effect as 100 ticks, which is 5 seconds, but you know what? Let's make fun and make this a really high jump by giving it an amplifier 4, which means it'll give jump boost 5. And we have to, of course, pick another key. The next one we haven't used, which I believe at this point is this one. So we're going to copy paste that key here. Oh, and then we're going to just pick an HUD render from, oh, let's say, you know what, let's just be surprised. We're going to grab this one. If I can copy it correctly. Copy. Paste, and let's just pick 10, and we'll just see what it is. And then we're going to, of course, add that 0 : potion effect cloud. Download it. Go to our files app. Delete the old version. Grab the newest version. Paste it. Head back over to Minecraft. And now we should hopefully see, yep, if we use our Canary ability key, which I've set to end randomly, give jump boost to anything in a circle around you. So if we spawn some random pigs around here, and we click the key, you can see anything in the circle gets a bunch of jump boost. I guess these pigs aren't really jumping, so you can't exactly see that they had jump boost, but you can see the particles around them. So we didn't make them ambient this time, so they became quite obvious. You know, our cooldown isn't showing up. Oops. I see why our bar isn't showing up now. We forgot to put a cooldown, so you could just do this infinitely. Yeah, if you were actually making this as like a serious origin, you would definitely want to fix that so you cannot just jump boost everywhere all of forever, making the game nothing but laggy particles. Oh, so anyway. You know, speaking of our friends, the active self power and commands, what if you want to make an ability where you execute a command, but not where you're at, but say where you look at? Well, then we can use a power quite similar to one I explained in the last episode, where we use the power of active self and raycast. To make it nice and easy, I'm just going to duplicate this beam power that we made last time. We'll name it something more creative than beam underscore. Let's just say You know what? Let's just say set dirt over there. And we'll want to rename it so it doesn't have the exact same thing. Name and description as the other one. And we're going to keep the raycast ability with its same kind of setup as before. But for this time, we're not going to make it do damage. We're going to get rid of that. You know, let's pick a fun new sound. Let's see. Back to MC Sounds Net. Let's just use something from page 53. Zombie villager converted. Sure. Well, hey, it's a fun sound, eh? Copy the ID. Get rid of this. Place it here. And we're going to use command at hit. Now, as we talked about earlier, there are a lot of different commands in Minecraft. For this one, we're going to use the /fill command. So the way that the /fill command works is it allows you to fill a rectangular prism with one kind of block. And in order to tell it how big this rectangular prism is, you have to tell it one corner and then the opposite corner. Now, how do we tell the fill command we want it to make a rectangular prism of, say, the same size as this andesite blob here? Well, we have to use the coordinates of the blocks. Now, if you were just going to put something in the same place in the world every single time, you just type in the numerical coordinates, but that's not what we're going for here. Here, we want the command to center around wherever we hit. So with raycast, well, at least with fill commands, it's the block above wherever we're pointing at. So let's say the block we're targeting with raycast is this polished granite. Well, then in order to define a 3x3 cube, we would need to select two opposite corners of the shape. So it would be like the purple one and the blue one, or the pink one and the green one, this like gray one or the red one, etc. This is cyan, not gray. Anyway, when you're using any command, if you use tilde, 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 that's the block you're at. Now, it's not like this granite block that I'm standing on top of. It's the block where my feet are. The block above the granite block. As you can see here from a little glass outline, the block where my feet are at is not one of the corners of the cube. So how do we tell it to grab one of these corners of the cubes? Well, if you notice, all these corners are one step forwards or backwards, and one step left or right from where I'm standing. And so we can use the coordinates tilde 1, tilde 1 to target a block that is +1 block eastward and +1 block southward. Obviously, what's east and south is based on which way you're facing in the world, but since we're just making a cube, we don't have to worry about that. It'll just grab one of these ground level corners, which in this case is actually the green one, but it doesn't really matter. Now, to grab the other upper corner, well, if we already grabbed the green one, which is +1 forwards and +1 right, this is right from first person, we want our other corner to be the pink blast block, which would be -1 blocks eastward and -1 blocks southward, and 2 blocks up. So, if we want to fill in our whole little cube here, we would do /fill tilde 1, tilde 1, to tilde -1, tilde 2, tilde -1. Which just means our first coordinate is like one forward and one right, and then the same height we're standing at. And then our second coordinate is -1 forwards, which is backwards, -1 right, which is left, +2 up, and then we would tell it we want to fill it with, in this case, let's just do glass. And then we can see these different replace modes. Basically, it just says, if you want this to destroy any blocks that are in the way and drop them as items on the ground, make a cube that's empty in the middle, not destroy any blocks that are in the way, make just the outline of the filled area, or replace any blocks in the area without dropping them as items on the ground. For this one, we're going to do keep, so we can still see where our corners are. And then we will run it, and you can see that we have made a glass cube, but it did not replace all the colored glass we had in the corners. Hopefully, this was a kind of good explanation of how Tilde's one and -1 and stuff all works. I redid it multiple times, but I'm not sure how helpful it really was. Yeah. But anyways, enough time describing the Tilde stuff. We're going to go back to the origin creator with our same little command that we just used. I guess we're making it place glass rather than dirt now. And I'm gonna paste it here. And then we need to change the key to our next available one, which I believe at this point is scenery active. I'm just gonna change the sprite really quickly so it's a different one. And sure, why not? Let's change the colors of the particles. Let's make it white, which I think would just be 1, 1, 1. And since it's actually glass, I'm gonna change the description to glass cube and rename it set glass. Oh yeah, and remember how we chose to use keep so that it won't destroy any blocks? If you want the command like this to destroy blocks, that's totally fine. However, I would always recommend you use destroy rather than replace, because if you have, say, a chest with some valuables in it, and you use replace to fill it, yeah, you're never getting those valuables back. Whereas, at least if you use destroy, all the contents of your chest will still be there, even if they get splattered all over the place. So anyways, let's go ahead and add this power to our origin really quickly. 0 colon set glass. Download it. Go back over to File Explorer. Delete the old version. Grab the new version. Paste the new version. Go back on over to Minecraft. And now we should hopefully see if we use our scenery active key, which I've randomly set to M. It should, within a certain range, set a glass cube. Let's make sure I grab a lot close enough. That should probably be close enough there. And hit M. Boom. Glass cube. And yes, you can see, because we had keep on, it did not destroy this grass here. When we placed it, it just made a cube that sat on top of the ground. For our next few powers, now there are several different kinds of damage in Minecraft. Damage to a cactus, damage from walking through berry bushes, damage from being on fire, fall damage, damage from powdered snow, and more. Now, let's say you want to make an origin immune to a certain kind of damage, or take more or less damage to a certain kind of damage. Well, then we can use one of two, well, technically 3 power types. Now, if you want to give an origin immunity to fire damage while being set on fire at all, it's the most simple thing. You find the power type, fire immunity, and that's it. That's your power. But if you want them to be immune to a different kind of damage, then we're going to instead use the Origin's Invulnerability power. And then you would pick what kind of damage you want the Origin to be invulnerable to. Now, for just about everything else, we look at what it says in Minecraft to figure out, okay, like say, what do we call a potion or something? But in this case, that doesn't work. So we can start by clicking on this word type right here and changing the wiki to the version that corresponds with whatever version of the Origins mod you're making Origins for. Since I'm working with 1.20.1 Origins, it's this version. Now, the main thing you'll probably want to look at is name for a particular damage type. And as you can see with this example here, we don't use a Minecraft damage type in this one command. Instead, we can click here on the list of damage source names. And these are the different kinds of damage that we can affect how much damage a player takes. So let's say, in this case, we want to make a player immune to getting hit by a cactus. Now you'll notice here, there are 2 different kinds of cactus damage. It's making contact with a cactus and making contact with a cactus while fighting a player or mob. So if we wanted to give them immunity to getting hurt by a cactus, we're going to go here And since there are two different types of damage we want the player to be immune to, but they don't both need to happen at the same time, we're going to use Origins OR so that we're immune to both of them, but they don't have to both happen at the same time because that's generally not going to happen. So then we're going to add two conditions and make both of them names, so it's the specific damage name. And then we're just going to copy what we see here. Cactus and cactus.player. And then we will add it really quickly to our origin. Download it. Head on over to File Explorer. Put the new one in and get rid of the old one. Head on over to Minecraft. And then we should hopefully see if we back into this cactus, we don't take any damage. Now let's say instead of being completely immune to something, you just want to take less damage of something. For that, we would use the power type Origins modify damage taken. So similar to the last power, we're going to use damage condition to specify what kind of damage we are modifying how much damage you take of. For this one, we're going to do fall damage. So if we go back here to our damage source names, you can see we have both fall and fall.player for falling by yourself and falling when you got like pushed. So we're going to pick Origins Oregon, and then we're going to once again add our two conditions of Origins name, and we're going to pick the names fall and fall.player. Now, modifier here is how we tell this basically what math operation to do with the amount of damage we normally get. Now, there's a lot here. Now, you might want to use addition if you just wanted to say take 2 hearts less every time. But most of the time, you'd probably just want to multiply the total. However, there is a problem with this. If you want to increase damage, it works great. Just multiply total by whatever you want it to work by. But for some bizarre reason, if you want to multiply it by a fraction to make it less, multiply total won't work. I don't know why that is, if it's like a bug or something, but it doesn't work. So instead, if we want to reduce the amount of damage you take, we can use multiply total multiplicative. Now, that sounds really complicated, but basically, all that it means is that it will multiply the total amount you have of damage you have by 1 plus whatever number you put in here, which kind of just seems unnecessarily complicated, but since the other one doesn't work, this is what we're going to use. So let's say we want you to take only 3/4 of fall damage. Well, 3/4 is 0.75. So we need to say 1 plus what equals 0.75? Well, it's negative 0.25. Because that's the same as saying 1 minus 0.25, which is 0.75. And so now that you've got your overcomplicated math out of the way, if we add this to our origin, and download it, head on over to File Explorer, and by now you know the drill. Delete the old one, give us a new one. Go back into Minecraft. We should see that we take less fall damage. Now, let's do a bit of testing here. So, if I switch my origin to just be like normal human, no special origin, you can see if we walk off this pillar, we will take 8 hearts of fall damage. And if we switch our origin to our tutorial origin, kill those extra 3 hearts back, and teleport the top, we should take less damage. Yup, that time we only lost 6 hearts instead of 8 hearts, because 6 is 3/4 of 8. The next thing I'm going to show you how to do isn't exactly a power per se. It's how to make an origin upgrade or evolve into a different origin. So for this, rather than adding another power, we'll want to go back to the file of the origin itself and scroll down. You can see here, this thing that says upgrades, we're going to hit the plus sign here and plus sign again. And this is where you can choose to make the origin upgrade to one or multiple other origins when you complete a certain Minecraft advancement. By default, you can view the advancements in Minecraft by hitting the L key. Advancements are basically like some sort of thing you get that pops up for doing something in the game, such as making a stone pickaxe or getting lava, etc. To see a total list of all advancements, I'd recommend checking out the Minecraft Wiki's page on advancements, which, if you scroll down, has a whole list of all the advancements possible in the game. Now, something important to keep in mind is whatever version of the game you're making the Origins mod for, because certain Origins may not be available for certain updates because they may include features that hadn't been added yet. Now, there are a whole lot of advancements in the game. When it comes to which one you should choose for using to upgrade your Origin, I suggest thinking about how doable you want this upgrade to be. Like something like just going to the end, well, that takes some time to do, but it's not too hard to do. Whereas you try to go to something like have every single effect applied at the same time, that's kind of insane to do. You'd really have to try hard to get that upgrade. There are also several advancements that are just kind of like random. They're not hard, they're just things you wouldn't normally expect to do. Like, for instance, is it a bird, which is looking at a parrot through a spyglass. So for this example, we're just going to be a bit silly and use this one, but depending on the kind of flavor of your origin, you may want to pick something a little bit more serious. Anyway, this right here is the latter part of the name that we need to put to indicate this advancement as the one that we want to use to upgrade our origin. So we can copy this right here, head back over to the origin creator, go in condition here, type Minecraft : and then paste what we just copied. And now once we get that advancement of is it a bird, which means you have to look at a parrot through a spyglass, whatever upgrade we have set in this little box here will be activated. Now we have to tell it what origin we want it to upgrade to. Well, in this pack here, we only have one origin. So really quickly, I'll just add a second one. So we go here, list what we want our second origin to be called. We'll call it Origin 2. Go right click here, new file, Origin 2. We'll call it Origin 2, the second one. And for power, well, if you want to use some of the powers from your starting origin, you could just pick which ones you want. Like, say we wanted these 5. We could just copy this and then paste them in here. And then if we had any other powers we wanted to add here, we would add them here as well. And then we can add our little icon. Let's just do Minecraft blue wool. And one of it. And we'll just pick 2 for the impact. Now, something you might want to do is if you want this origin here to only be something that you can get from upgrading from another origin and not be an origin that you can pick at the beginning of entering a world, you can actually click this little box here, unchoosable, which means that you cannot pick it as an origin at the beginning, but you can get it from an upgrade or like by command, obviously, of course. So anyways, now that we have our Origin 2 set up, we're going to go back here to our original origin. And we're going to say that when we get the advancement of looking at a bird through a spyglass, we want it to upgrade to the Origin 0: which just tells the tutorial pack to look inside this pack, Origin 2. And then for announcement here, it's basically just a little chat message that'll pop up when the upgrade is fulfilled. You don't have to put anything here, but you can. We'll just say you saw a bird. It changed your life. If you wanted to make more possible upgrades for this origin, like say if you did an advancement like, I don't know, what a deal, you go to a different kind of origin instead, you just click on this plus sign and follow the same formatting we did here, but with like the different advancement and the different origin, etc. in this box. But for now, we'll just keep it simple and do the one. So we should now be good to download this. And then we're going to switch over to File Explorer, delete the old version of the pack, grab the new version, paste the new version in, come on back over to Minecraft. And now, if we look at a parrot through a spyglass, we get the advancement, is it a bird? Our little chat message, you saw a bird, it changed your life, came across. And now if we look at our origin is now Origin 2. And it has the powers that we pasted in there. Now, one little note here, if you're going to like test a bunch of stuff with advancements, you can't just re-get an advancement you've already got. Like if we try to look at the parrot again, nothing happens. And if we were to once again go back to our tutorial origin, oh yeah, you'll notice it goes straight from tutorial origin to Merlin. We can't pick Origin 2. And then we wanted to upgrade to Origin 2 again. Well, it wouldn't work because we can't re-get an advancement we've already gotten. So if we wanted to re-upgrade, we need to use the help of commands. So we would need to use the command /advancement, and then we'd have to say revoke from you only, and then specifically the technical name of this advancement, which in this case is Minecraft:adventure /spygrass_@_parrot. So then if we run this command, then you'll notice if we go to our advancement screen and try to find where the heck the parrot one is at, it's back to gray rather than gold, showing that we haven't gotten it yet. And so if we go look at our parrot again, now we can re-get our advancement and have our origin upgraded. The next power I'm going to show you how to do is to make the player be able to eat something that they couldn't normally eat, such as, in this example, moss blocks. So to do this, well, we actually have to start with a condition. We need the type origins equipped item. And we'll keep it in main hand because you hold the item in your main hand when you're going to eat it. And then for item condition, we want type origins ingredient, which basically means a specific item, because we only want you to be able to eat moss blocks, not other things in this case. And so to see what we need to put here, we just head back on over to Minecraft, and if we try to /give ourselves moss, we can see that the sort of item name of it is Minecraft:moss_block. So that's what we need to write in that blank. Minecraft:moss_block. So now this power will only activate when we are holding moss blocks in our hand. And now we need to actually create the power itself. So for this, we're going to use a power type we've already used multiple times in this video, origins active self. Now for the entity action here, we'll actually put and, because we want two things to happen at the same time. So the first thing we will do is the equipped item actions, and we'll keep it for main hand, and the action we will use is consume, because we want the moss block to be consumed when you're eating it, basically meaning that it disappears. And so we only want it to consume one moss block. And this is why we very much need this condition here, because otherwise this could activate when you had anything in your hand, and you don't want to like eat your diamond sword on accident or something. So now for our other part of the action, we need it to actually feed you something. So we use the type conveniently named origins feed. Now food is how many hunger points you want eating it to refill, and there are 2 per little turkey leg looking thing. So let's just say, I don't know, 4, which would fill up 2 of those little haunches. Now for saturation, technically it's not just a number we put here. If we head on over to the Origins Wiki, you can see that the food saturation level is determined by the number of food times the number you put in saturation times 2. So right now, it's whatever we put in here times 4, this number we put here, times 2. So we could put, say, 1 in here, and then we'd have 1 times 4 times 2, which would be 8 saturation, not just 1. I'll just keep it at that for now. You might want to balance it more, depending on what it was. But anyways, so for cooldown, unless you want to be able to like eat these immediately, you probably want to put a cooldown here. When it comes to a normal food, it takes 32 ticks to eat it, so I suggest putting something sort of like that, unless this is like something that gives you a big buff, because you could also add a thing here that would apply potion effect to you, so you get like strength or something, and then you'd probably want more of a cooldown. But if it's just food, you probably just want to give it the equivalent to the amount of time it would take it to eat it if it was actually food. Now for key, here we actually don't use one of our other kinds of keys that we've been using, such as like primary active, secondary active, because we just want to eat it. So you just use your right click, just like you would normally use to eat normal food. So for that, we want to type in key.use, which is by default right click, but if you change that, then it would be whatever key you changed it to. For HDR render, you could put like a little cooldown bar showing you when you can eat it next, but considering it's only like not even 2 seconds, I don't really think that's necessary, but you could do it if you wanted to. So now we're going to add this to our origin. We'll just add it to our first main origin. 0 : eat moss. Download it. We'll grab the new one, copy it, delete the old one, and paste the new one in its place. Head on over to Minecraft. And then, if we have our convenient little moss block here, and we right click it, boom, we ate it. But you know, something you might expect with the addition of new foods is that you might expect certain other foods not to be able to be eaten. So how do you do that? Well, if we want to make an origin not able to eat a certain food, we can use the power called prevent item use. This item condition here is what kind of item we want it to prevent to use. Now, if you wanted to not be able to eat any sort of normal food at all, you could just use Origins food, and that would be it. If you wanted the origin not to be able to have meat at all, you could just use Origins meat. If you want the origin to only be able to eat meat, you would actually need to use and, because you would need to tell it prevent stuff that was food, but is also at the exact same time not meat, which we would say by clicking on the inverted box, which flips this condition. So this prevents items use of something that is both food and is not meat. If we want instead to prevent like a specific one, like bread, which is just kind of random, we would switch the type to say origins ingredient for a specific item, and we'd put the name of the item, which if it was bread, would just be Minecraft : breaded. You can find the item name in the same way that we found the item name of the moss block. So if we really quickly add this to our origin, 0, no bread, and download it really quickly, head on over to File Explorer, grab our newest copy, delete this version, paste this new version, head on back over to Minecraft, and then if we give ourselves bread and we try to eat it, well, you guess you can't really tell I'm right-clicking, but oops, nothing is happening. If we hover over it, we'll see it's inedible, and it tells us the name of the power that prevents it, which in this case is no bread. But if we look at all the other foods, you should still be able to see that we can eat all of these just fine. It's just specifically bread that we cannot eat. Alright, so that was a tutorial on how to make even more power types with the Origin Creator. Hopefully you found it helpful. But if you have any more questions or would like to see tutorials on how to do any other sort of powers, you can request that in the comment section of the video for the potential for that to be included in a part 3 of this series of tutorials. The file of the origin that I made these tutorial powers on will be available for download in a link in the description. Feel totally free to copy and edit them for your own use. I've also made some other non-tutorial origins if you are interested in downloading some of those. If you watched the video, thank you so much. And if you liked it, maybe consider leaving a like, comment, or subscribe if you want to. But yeah,